part of an ongoing investigation into Tiffany Henyard's leadership in the South Suburbs. FBI has launched an investigation into controversial Dalton Mayor Tiffany Henyard.
Dane Placco has been following allegations of her misspending and joins us now with an update. Dane.
Yeah, we've been reporting for nearly 2 years on allegations of corruption surrounding Henyard in her capacity as Dalton Mayor.
The ongoing scandal surrounding Tiffany Henyard, the mayor of Dalton, Illinois, has drawn widespread public attention, especially following the involvement of the FBI in investigating her alleged misconduct. The primary focus of the investigation revolves around the Tiffany Henyard Foundation, with federal agents seeking records related to financial transactions exceeding $10,000. This probe has left many Dalton officials, particularly trustees, feeling unsettled as more evidence against the mayor continues to surface. While specific details about the investigation remain closely guarded, reports have emerged indicating that FBI agents have been questioning well-known Dalton residents, a clear indication that the probe is extensive. This investigation gained further momentum when long-standing allegations resurfaced, suggesting that Henyard may have abused her political office for personal gain. These accusations have circulated for some time, damaging her public image, but the involvement of federal authorities has now given them greater credibility. Although the investigation is still in its early stages, its effects on Henyard's political career are already becoming evident, with public trust in her leadership beginning to decline. Once celebrated for her achievements and hailed as a super mayor by her supporters due to her efforts in transforming Dalton, Henyard now finds herself at the center of a scandal that threatens to overshadow her entire career. As the investigation continues, it remains uncertain how it will ultimately impact her political future and the public's perception of her. The fallout from the investigation has left many Dalton residents questioning the true nature of Henyard's leadership, with some fearing that further damaging revelations could emerge as the probe progresses. This investigation could potentially mark a turning point for the city, as many local officials who were once seen as Henyard's allies are now distancing themselves from the growing controversy. This shift indicates a significant decline in Henyard's political standing, and her once strong reputation is now under attack. As more evidence comes to light and public opinion continues to turn against her, it remains unclear whether Henyard will be able to recover from the damage to her credibility and political influence. Among the allegations being investigated are concerns over the mismanagement of public funds, particularly regarding hundreds of thousands of dollars allocated for police overtime, funds that were reportedly used for her personal security, as well as significant travel expenses for out-of-town trips. These concerns suggest that Henyard may have improperly used public resources for personal benefit, further complicating the investigation and raising serious questions about the integrity of her administration. The investigation has taken a more serious turn, with reports stating that FBI agents have questioned several key individuals, including the proprietors of a local bus company, a former village employee, and at least one public official. This public official confirmed to Fox 32 that the investigation remains ongoing. These individuals have shared troubling accounts, including claims that they were denied business licenses, raising concerns about the role of politics in local business operations. Such accounts suggest that the mayor's office may have been using its authority to manipulate the licensing process for political gain, potentially hindering local businesses that did not support Henyard's political agenda. One of the most alarming aspects of the FBI's inquiry is the suggestion that political influence may have been a factor in delaying business licenses. It has been alleged that the mayor's office may have deliberately withheld licenses as a form of retaliation against business owners who did not support Henyard's administration or political campaign. Several business owners in Dalton have come forward with claims that their licenses were delayed, seemingly as a result of political retaliation. For example, Boone Wood, the owner of a local restaurant, has been trying to renew his business license for nearly a year. He claims that the prolonged delay in the renewal process is due to his business serving patrons who support a political faction opposing Henyard's administration. Similarly, Chasen House, the owner of George's Towing, filed a formal complaint, stating that his business license renewal was also delayed after he refused to endorse or contribute to Henyard's political campaign. House has publicly welcomed the FBI's investigation, emphasizing that it is essential for ensuring transparency and accountability in the handling of taxpayer dollars. He also pointed to his involvement with the state group and his connections to Dalton trustees, several of whom had refused to support Henyard's candidacy. House suggested that these individuals believed he was unfairly targeted for political reasons, particularly due to his refusal to support Henyard's re-election efforts. These allegations have raised serious concerns about the fairness and integrity of local government under Henyard's leadership, prompting broader questions about whether political influence is affecting how local businesses are treated. As the FBI continues to investigate Henyard's alleged misuse of public funds and her role in influencing business licensing decisions, the fallout from the scandal has already begun to spread throughout the community. Business proprietors in Dalton, particularly those who perceive themselves as targets of licensing postponements or additional categories of political meddling, have commenced to publicly question the equity and openness of the mayor's administration. Certain local officials who have long stood in opposition to Henyard have likewise contributed their perspectives, articulating apprehensions concerning the soundness of her leadership and the methodology employed by her administration in matters of governance. The prospect of political favoritism, personal enrichment, and the misapplication of communal resources has provoked anxieties that Henyard's actions may have not only inflicted harm upon local commerce, but have also corroded public confidence in the municipal government. As the inquiry advances, numerous Dalton inhabitants anxiously anticipate supplementary disclosures that may illuminate the full magnitude of the supposed wrongdoing. Some individuals are advocating for augmented financial responsibility and openness in the supervision of public funds, apprehensive that Henyard's tenure has subverted the principles of transparency and impartiality that are fundamental to sound local governance. At the core of this escalating scandal exists the inquiry into whether Henyard's mayoral tenure has been characterized by corruption or impropriety. As novel allegations persist in surfacing and an increasing number of individuals step forward, with assertions that they have suffered consequences due to her administration's undertakings, the strain upon the mayor to confront these emerging concerns is intensifying. The inquiry is poised to illuminate the inner mechanisms of her administration, and numerous citizens are yearning for elucidation and responsibility. Commercial proprietors and denizens of Dalton are commencing to deliberate upon whether Henyard's leadership has been compromised by self-interest and political maneuvering. The cumulative allegations and the amplification of public skepticism have already cast an extended shadow over her administration, and any fresh disclosures could further amplify the mounting calls for accountability. As the investigation proceeds, the residents of Dalton, including entrepreneurs who believe themselves to be unjustly treated, await explanations. They remain uncertain as to the duration they must endure this period of ambiguity and the deterioration of the mayor's formerly impeccable reputation. Ultimately, the Federal Bureau of Investigation's probe into Mayor Tiffany Henyard's suspected misconduct has escalated, with additional revelations continuously emerging. As a greater number of individuals offer distressing testimonies regarding political intervention and the exploitation of public resources, the scandal has raised grave inquiries concerning Henyard's leadership and the probity of her administration. The pressure upon the mayor is mounting, and as the inquiry advances, the citizens of Dalton and its commercial proprietors are insisting upon enhanced transparency and accountability. The destiny of Henyard's political trajectory, alongside the future of her administration, remains uncertain, with many awaiting the possibility of further charges or disclosures as the investigation unfolds.
The FBI, which said it is policy for the agency not to comment on the nature, existence, or non-existence of any investigation that may be occurring. A public relations firm responded on behalf of the mayor, saying neither Henyard or the village of Dalton have received any subpoenas or been contacted by
the Federal Bureau of Investigation's participation in scrutinizing Mayor Tiffany Henyard's administration signifies a crucial juncture for the inhabitants of Dalton, Illinois, who have for an extended period sensed that their apprehensions regarding corruption, fiscal mismanagement, and an absence of accountability have been disregarded. After multiple years of financial mismanagement, self-serving governance, and an administration that neglected the fundamental requirements of the community, the federal investigation furnishes the town's residents with an occasion to confront the deeply entrenched issues that have afflicted their municipality for an excessive duration. Henyard's administration, which was once perceived by certain individuals as a vehicle for transformation, is presently enshrouded in allegations of financial misappropriation, improper utilization of communal funds, and the deterioration of trust between the municipal government and its populace. For an extensive period, the citizens of Dalton have observed as their diligently earned tax contributions were purportedly redirected toward individual ambitions rather than communal welfare. This circumstance has engendered an ever-expanding schism between the township's governance and its denizens, who have grown progressively disenchanted with the prevailing condition of local administration. However, the involvement of the Federal Bureau of Investigation has instilled a newfound sense of optimism among numerous residents of Dalton, presenting them with a long-anticipated opportunity to rectify the widespread corruption and reinstate integrity within their local government. Dalton's municipal governance has perennially been a source of vexation for its populace. Beneath Henyard's stewardship, the township has observed instances of excessive expenditures, dubious political appointments, contentious governmental decisions, and a neglect of indispensable services, including essential fire department agreements. Concurrently, the township's infrastructure, encompassing its roadways, has persistently deteriorated, leaving the populace with an overwhelming sentiment of abandonment by the very officials entrusted with the responsibility of leading their community. The unrestrained financial allocations, political nepotism, and blatant disregard for the general welfare of the people have incited extensive dissatisfaction. Yet, the ongoing Federal Bureau of Investigation's inquiry is presently offering affirmation to those who have incessantly scrutinized and condemned the administration's actions. With the federal investigation in full progression, Dalton stands at a momentous crossroads. For the first instance, the town's inhabitants perceive themselves as possessing a genuine prospect of liberating themselves from the cycle of inefficiency, preferential treatment, and exploitation that has hindered the township's progress for an extensive period. The investigation has ignited a revitalized sense of optimism, with an increasing number of Dalton's denizens regarding this moment as a turning point in their town's governance and future.